Right, thanks so much for staying there. Right on TV3, our special coverage of the election petition hearing at the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana. And the court went on a short break. We're expecting them to be back in about some 7 minutes time according to the studio clock, and we'll be there to usher the judges as they take their seat to continue the proceedings there. But so far, cross-examination started by the counsel for the president, Tony later there, and some of you have sent in your comments. Let me read some of them before I go to Lawyer Morris Ampao to begin to look at some of the issues before the judges return. Now, a couple of them here. You think that in the Bilan, Francis says the NPP initially said that the EC and President Mahama connived to steal votes. Later, the NPP came out to call what had happened irregularities, and now the NPP is calling it at the Supreme Court constitutional violations. That is what you think. And then Nana Jeffrey Kradaso says, I can tell you that Dr. Baumia is now Ghana EC. Well, that is what you also think. And then Charlotte Mensah says, we hope this ends peacefully and successfully. Now, low-key Raymond Ajmandria says, the ECG took our lives both in the house and at work. I can't believe that. Well, that's your situation there. And then Kumbasi Muniri said, I'm praying for the best outcome. And this one from Harry Lamptey said, Ghana is indeed hot, but let us pray for this to move on smoothly and also peacefully. A lot of you have your comments. I'll be reading some of them. But let me go back to Lawyer Morris Ampao from the Legal Advocacy Foundation. Thanks so much. Now, let us look at what happened in court, where the council sometimes put up certain behavior. What is a council expected to do? What are the go areas and no-go areas?
As a lawyer, when you appear before a judge, you must first give respect to the bench.
Right.
You should not antagonize the bench, and also you must also give respect to the other counsel. And then you see any attack on the counsel or anything that you do, if you attack the council, you attack a party, you use words which are not permitted in law courts. It's an insult to the bench. So, as a lawyer, you must be firm.
So there are some words that you can't use.
Yes.
Like, can you give us an example?
For example, you don't say that, for example, you are stupid. You know, this is a stupid submission.
Argument, right.
Argument. This is nonsensical. You know, you don't use words like that. You say, I disagree with your argument. I think arguments are not tenable in law. You know, I beg to differ. Those are the words
that you can't use.
Yes.
In the case of Tony Letha, he was said to have raised his voice. How far can you raise your voice in court?
You see, it's not the amount of shouting. You know, and then the reason of the voice that that will determine whether you are making a good case or you are making a good submission. So normally when you raise your voice, people the reasonable person can know the way you start, the way you talk. When you raise your voice, the reasonable person can easily know that you have moved beyond certain limits. So therefore, definitely it may intimidate so you see, the duty of the cross-examination is not to intimidate or put fear
to the witness.
No. You see, you are helping the court to come to a final conclusion. You are helping the court to unravel the truth. So it's not about intimidating and shouting and screaming, because you see, if you shout or you scream at a witness, you are doing it to the judge, because the judge is recording whatever you are saying. But when you look at the witness, say you see, it's a threat to the bench, not the witness, because if the witness is there to help the court to know,
to take a decision.
Take a decision. So you must be decorum, but you must be fair, and at times you must also look very intimidating the way you ask your questions and you look at your witness, because the demeanor of the witness also will
tell the judge something.
Yes, because the judge is not only looking at the questions, he's also looking at how the witness is behaving. The demeanor will determine whether the witness is being truthful or is trying to avoid the questions. So you must take your time and then be very assertive, and you should not go overboard.
What about facial expressions? You're talking to a witness and then you go like, hey, something like that. You tend to put fear in the witness. but the way you manipulate the muscles on your face.
Oh,
is that allowed in court?
No,
because we saw Tony Letha there, kind of showing that kind of expression.
You can't determine how somebody must hold his face. That one, because the person at times in cross-examination you must be in your worrying mood. You know, you must be on top. You see, a lawyer, when you are cross-examining, you should be ready. It's like a fighter, but at the same time you must be tactful.
Right.
Because at times you can be nice to a witness and you get everything that you want. But when you are being very hard on the witness, the witness will be invasive. So at times some people go like this. Oh, Dr. Memnia, so are you telling the court as if you are convincing the person, but we are trying to elicit evidence and we are trying to discredit the person. So it is better that counsel, we hold our peace, we are very decorum, and then especially those who are the court. You know, the court place is not a stadium, one.
Right.
And then what is happening at the court is not debate. If you are not, you see, at the court, although the parties that are there, we have the representative of the NPP and NDC.
As well as the electoral
commission. No, they are not supporters. You are just observers. And you are not supposed to even show any support.
By way of clapping,
because MPP and any disciplines are there when things are going on well with Dr. Biam, you say she rather or in the big, you know,
you can do that.
No, it will be contempt of court because the judges are under serious under serious examination. The people are examining them, and they must be critical. They must be very careful, listen to the arguments, and take notes. Now, anything that tends to disrupt or interfere with the administration of justice will amount to contempt of court, and there you can be thrown out. In fact, the judge can make an order that you go out for the rest of the day, or they can even order that you don't come into this courtroom again because of your disrespect or misbehaving towards the bench.
How would you describe, right there in the court, we see some court officials moving up and down. When an exhibit has to be moved from one direction to the other, they do that work. Now, what is your role in the whole process? You
know, you see, the judges are there, but the whole courtroom is being managed by administrators. So we have the interpreters, we have the court ushers, we have the clerks, and then we have those who are recording. All those assist the bench to get information. So, for example, if a lawyer wants to tender a document, you don't take the document and walk to the judge. You give it to the either court clerk to pass it on.
And this is done in all jurisdictions.
All jurisdictions. Because, you know, the judges don't work alone.
Let's see what we watch in movies, where we see a cross, in this kind of cross-examination, you see the counsel standing at one point. Now, in what we see in movies, you see the counsel sometimes walking and talking, and sometimes even getting close to the witness box to ask a question. Is this something that is a movie thing, or what we're seeing at the Supreme Court is a standard?
What you are seeing is the standard. You know, we were trained by the British, so we are being governed by the British standard. So normally we have the bar where you sit. There are places for the lawyers to sit, and so you must limit yourself to that place. You don't go beyond. But nothing prevents you from going beyond.
If you want to walk out where you're sitting,
yes, nothing prevents you from doing that. Or you can seek permission from the court.
President's counsel taking his cross-examination to an end. We've been told that the court will not sit past 4 p.m. From what we saw, and from the studio clock, it's about just 3 minutes after 2 p.m. Can that examination end today?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I told you that the President Counsel is just doing the introduction. He's warming himself up. So it will take more than even a day
to go through the process.
The cross-examination by the President Counsel may end tomorrow. He will not finish today.
Can a cross-examination also see an objection that will result in the judges deciding to rise and go to their chambers and take a decision?
No. Normally in cross-examination, it's very difficult for judges to rise and take a decision, because with that one, when you ask the questions and the questions are not relevant, the other lawyer just raises objection, and judges quickly there and there, the presiding judge will decide whether it is relevant or not. So
it is up to the judges to take that decision.
Yes, because
this time they don't confer with each other.
No, they can confer, but it's like the presiding judge is an experienced Supreme Court judge, and he's the one chairing. So when you see questions, you are supposed to ask questions.
Right.
Short fairness. So because if you are asking questions, the judges know whether the questions are relevant or not. You can have questions and they will know that this question you are just trying to delay. So they can even come and say, oh, cancel this question, it's not relevant. Next question. Then they can tell them, look, if you think you don't have any question, then you can end.
So the state we find ourselves, we can confidently conclude that objections that will result in the court rising to take a decision,
it's minimal when it comes to cross-examination.
It doesn't that it cannot happen again.
It can happen, but it's
very minimal.
Because then and there, because you see, you are only asking questions, and so the questions that you realize that it happened when the President Council was asking questions. The lawyer Phillips Addison then said that, look, my lord, and quickly they resolved the issue. Because there was this argument, and the Supreme Court did not they just look at it and say, look, let it go, answer. So it's either answer or don't answer. Next question at cross-examination.
So then at this time we can put a finger on it and say that, well, we are gradually getting to a point where we can speed up the process.
Yeah, definitely. But you see, the danger is that with cross-examination, you don't have a time limit. The person is asking questions, so you can decide to ask questions and ask, and
there's no time limit.
Yes, there's no time limit. They will ask
for 1 week.
Yeah, because if he has not finished his question, and he said, my lord, I've not finished. So any more questions? Yes. And then there's some way. Some have a way of filing questions. They start the questions from A, and you realize that the petitioner has made a serious allegations, turned in so many documents, figures, and all those things. So it will take time. So they can look at the figures one by one, the evidence one by one, the petitioner amendment one by one. So it can take time. The person can cross-examine only one amendment, then we take about 10 or 20 minutes. Then you move on. So you don't have time. You can't limit the time. You can't. The judge cannot say that, hey, please finish with your cross-examination. You are in a hurry. No, you must allow the cross-examination to go on, because it is fair that you should allow the person who have made alleged should be interrogated on these allegations, so that the court will come out with a fair decision.
In this case, we're having 3 respondents. Is that why we would have Dr. Bawumia examined by 3 respondents, or you depend on how many respondents you find the same number during the cross-examination?
Yes, you see, because Dr. Bawumia the petition is against the EC, the president, and then the NDC were allowed to join.
Right.
So these are all interested parties. So each of these interested parties, respondents, have a counsel, and their counsel will have to cross-examination.
Let me take you back to an issue now. Does this then suggest that, for instance, at a point in time in this particular case, we had about 300 people wanted to join? Does it then mean that if they had been allowed to join, we're going to have all these 300 being represented by councils or just one council?
That time it was lawyer Senate, so it will be represented by one council. But if each respondent had a counsel, then it means that you have about 370 lawyers representing each respondent. So you're supposed to realize that it will delay the process. So what interest do you have as party members? Your party is there. The president represents your party is there. So why do you allow? So that's why the Supreme Court did not allow
Has it ever occurred that I still want us to use this example. We have 3 respondents. has it ever occurred? Is it possible for, let's say, one of them to, after cross-examining, to say that, well, we think what we have is okay, and so we don't want to do a cross-examination again? But we're going back to the Supreme Court, and Dr. Bawumia, the star witness, is still there. Let's run the feed from the Supreme Court here in Accra.